And I must appreciate Ms. Grace who helped with the preparation of these slides because, and that's Ms. Grace Annie. She also works with us at Jasper Digital. So tonight we'll be looking at the principles for no-code websites, and we'll be touching on layout, typography, colors, and UX UI. Okay, so Ms. Grace, I give you your flowers. Thank you for the beautiful slides. Let's move on. Now, when we talk about the website design, we are actually talking about how to ensure that one, all the requested features, what they want the website to perform, the website is able to perform it, and that's when we are saying functional. That is to say, all the functions they want the website to perform, the website is able to perform it. For example, a client got in touch with me last month and he said he wanted to develop an e-commerce website. The guy sells solar products. So the e-commerce website he wanted to develop, he wanted to be able to create invoices for customers on the website. He wanted to be able to also take stocks on the platform, and of course definitely he wanted to list products so that people can visit the website and get the products on the website. So bringing all these features together, that's what makes the website functional. But not just that alone, then the next thing is that the website must be visually appealing. Visually appealing, and what that implies is it has to be beautiful, although not like beautiful like doing makeup or beautiful like drawings. So, but at the same time, it must be attractive. Somebody made a buying decision recently just because of how beautiful the website was. Unfortunately, that particular website he bought from, they are not offering quality service, but their website is really beautiful, and that's what he sold. Okay, so your website must have these two wings, and that is why it's important for you to understand website design principles. Okay, so the first key concept we must understand is what we call website layouts. Generally, website layouts are three. We have the header, we have the body, and we have the footer. Just like you can see here, the header contains the logo, navigation menu, and maybe sometimes contact information. Okay, let me try and share and open one of the projects done by one of us. Okay, so if you look at this is the header now, where we have this logo. That's where the header is. And then let me see, check if this one has footer. So this is the footer. You have the logo again here, and then you have the social media handles. Okay, so this is the footer. So that's how it should be for our website. But then there is an instance where we don't need the header and the footer. Before I talk about that instance where we don't need the header and the footer, the header is very important because you know that's the first thing people will see on the website, is at the topmost part of the website. So it should show your logo, it should show the navigation menu. The essence of the navigation menu is that once people click on it, they can go to wherever they want to go. Okay, they can move to wherever they want to move. So that's the essence of the navigation menu. And then aside from that, in some instances it contains contact information. In some instances you add contact information to it, or maybe if there's a very important announcement, it can be there. Okay, now look at this website. You will see at the top here, we are seeing the logo first. After the logo, you see the navigation menu, right? And then after that, what's the next thing you see? The key action they want people to take: get WordPress. Okay, and if you scroll down, then we have the footer. So if you come back here, you see for footer, it includes secondary navigation. So there might be a navigation there. You might have contact information. You might have disclaimers, and then few other things. So that's basically what you have at footer. Now look here. Here we have navigation, although in different style. Now for declaration or disclaimers, this privacy terms is a disclaimer. Okay. So we have stuff like this at the footer. Now see the logo here, see the tagline. Yes, the tagline I was trying to remember here, and then the social media icons follow it. So basically, that's what we mean by website layout. You see, so I showed us what we did, and I tried to show us another website to so that we all can learn together. Okay. Now, aside from that, the body, you see, I left that. The body is where you have the main content area. So what you are going to be having on the body will be determined by the information you desire to present or that your clients desire to present. That's one. Two, the features that you desire to have or that your client will want on the website. So that's actually what determines what will be in the body. And of course, for each website, what will be in the body has to be different because as long as they are presenting different information, they cannot contain the same content. Okay, so let's look at this. This is by one of us too. And you will realize this is actually the one we used for demo, and the person also customized it beautifully. So you can see Lizzie no code class where developer matters, Oshogbo, Osun State, Nigeria. So this is the header now. But for the content, this is where the content begins. This is a slider. We call this a slider. Okay. So and then not just the slider alone, other things follow where we present other information. There was a schedule here, available classes are Webflow and WordPress. The person is really part of the class. So newsletter, maybe for people who want to subscribe to the class and all. So now these are the three key information that were presented on this website, okay, which is fantastic. There's a website I developed that didn't have that didn't have more than just two of these. Let me try if I can get that website. Other websites. Now look at these two. You see the header, fantastic. But can we mention some of the other things that should be in the body? I mentioned some of them like okay, we can have images, we can have texts. Aside from images and text, what other things do you see in the body of your website? Fonts, yes, thank you.
Colors.
Fonts, yes. You can have different colors, yes. Those are part of the different things that determine how the aesthetics will look like. Any other thing? Videos. You can have videos. You can have just some codes to embed. If you are working with a low code project, you can do that. Um, what else? You can have just a space where people need to submit something. It might not be a form per se, but maybe to make a comment or something. So that's basically what the body of each website entails. So when we get into drag and drop, we will understand more because what you are looking for, what you want to achieve will determine what you will go and pick and drop in the body. Those of us who use the Webflow, we understand that, but especially if you build some things into it. So best practices when you are using website layout. I think before I leave the website layout, well, this grid system will help me to touch on that. Use a grid system to ensure consistency and alignment. Usually, in some of the no codes, we use what we call section. And what that basically means is that um, It's just like boxes. The way websites work, it's like now let me share our website here for reference. Now, this is the header. Aside from this header, there are two different boxes here. This is the first box, this is the second box. Are you following me? Now, on the first box, we just have a heading and a button. Okay. Then on the second one, we have images that are changing, that are sliding. That's what we have here. Okay. Now, on the next line, we have contact details. This was deliberate actually. If you check on the mobile version, you understand why it's deliberate. It's deliberate as such that once you visit the website, what you are seeing is a summary of what the website is about and the contact details. Okay, so if you come here now, you will see that instead of having just two rectangles or two containers, that's what we call it, either two containers or two flex or whatever. Here now we are having four of such, right? And the four we are having all contains uniform information, right? If you scroll down, how many are we having here? Three of such boxes. One, two, three. So if you scroll down, how many are we having again? Three. Then we have just one. So let me show us another website. Okay, as this loaded, the network is really bad, but it's fine. Let me show this to us. Okay, this website is not fully loaded, but this is the header. You are familiar with that. Now, this is a slider. This is a slider. Okay. Now, this is a slider. And aside from that, we have here just one container. And then when you come here, we have two. You understand? So one just has an image, the other one has a text with a button. I hope you have seen that pattern. Now, this is the website I was talking about that just has two an image is there, it's not loading, that's a class, and then we have text and button too, and that's all. That's the home page. It's not when it is very long that you say yes, you have a website. It doesn't have to be so long. You get it? So that's what layout is. So you use a grid system. That's what I just showed to us to ensure consistency and alignment. Then ensure that the layout is responsive to different screen sizes. That is to say, whether you are looking at the website from a mobile device or from a desktop, it's looking interesting, it's looking fantastic. Okay? Because I've seen situations whereby some websites will look very nice on desktop. By the time you get to the mobile version, some details are already missing. Typography, what do we mean by typography? We're just talking about the texts on the website. What text do? Of course, that's how you write words, that's how you communicate on the website. So it must be something readable. Aside from being readable, it must be something that shows hierarchy, that shows the flow of information. You get that? And it's something that has to show consistency. If you are using just two fonts, stay with the two fonts all through. Now the role of color. Colors play very significant role. If you look at the websites I've been showing to you so far, the different colors communicate different messages. But then there's something we call color psychology. If you look at these colors and the brands, there's a relationship between the colors and the branding. There's a relationship because each of those colors have meaning. There's something they mean. Anywhere you see yellow, that's talking about something exciting. is about happiness because it's something very bright. What does red communicate? I want somebody to mention it on the call.
Danger.
Danger, thank you. What does purple communicate?
Reality.
Wow, that's good. It communicates reality. We have some people who understand color psychology here. Okay, let me go another round. What does orange communicate? Communicates creativity. It communicates creativity. And sometimes because it's a blend of red and yellow, then some other times you see it communicating excitement too. Okay? So what about blue? What does blue communicate? There are a lot of things they communicate actually, but there are few of them that stand out. So what does blue communicate? Like the one we use for Jasper Digital's branding.
One thing is health.
Yes, blue communicates health. That's true, that's correct. And when we are saying blue communicates health, we're talking about the light tone, the lighter tone. That's what communicates health. When you're talking about dark blue, that communicates security, it communicates professionalism. Sometimes you realize IT companies prefer using blue. You see Facebook blue, you see Zoom has some element of blue inside it. You see this has blue. So blue it has its own word. Don't let me emphasize blue. Now you can see on the screen psychology of red. Let me just point out something. Red is associated with lust, excitement, love, energy, and movement. It also communicates power. So it can be used in war, violence, fire, danger, anger. Okay? Now, when to use red to accent colors to draw attention to something or to create excitement. Now, see this. This is very important. Red can be good for food, fashion, entertainment, sports, marketing, advertising, emergency services, and healthcare. So if somebody bring any project in any of these lines to you, then you can check, okay, using red here should be something applicable. Okay? Now, let me ask a question. If a fashion brand contacts you to develop an e-commerce store for them, what color would you use? Fashion brand. A fashion brand contacted you, what
A
color would you
fashion
use?
brand. I will use coffee.
Coffee. Why coffee color for fashion brand? You can go ahead and speak, please.
Orange will be part of the color because if you are not creative, you might not be able to really go far in fashion.
Okay, so orange may be part of the color. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me? Sorry. Okay, I said I will use coffee because coffee has artistic properties. It's yeah, it's kind of beautiful and is rich.
Okay. Okay. I guess you like coffee yourself too.
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to give it to us as assignment. So aside from the color psychology, you see blue for trust, red for urgency. We also have what we call contrast. You ensure that what you are trying to present is readable. You cannot be using blue to write on purple. It will not come out. If you look at this page that I'm showing you now, you see black on white, you see white on blue. That is contrast. So whatever you are writing on it is appearing. Okay, if I go back to some of the websites some of us did, we violated the principle of contrast. Now the third thing is something very important. Actually, whether you are doing graphics, or you are doing website development, or you are working on any website development, any design or design related concept, you must understand what we call color scheme. Sometimes the person who wants to do the job might just have one color in mind. So as a designer, you can just research it. You might Google it, you might use ChatGPT, and there are some websites that you can use too. I use is it colors.co or so. There are some websites you can use that will generate color schemes for you. So the way this works, you might just pick a color and then it generates the remaining ones for you. I've used it quite a number of times. These ones are random colors, but we are not learning how to use the platform now. It would be good if you can check out the platform later. Colors, double O in color. Well, let's leave that for the sake of our time. But if you look at those screens I shared with you, this is what we call color scheme or color palette, where you have different colors blending together. So if you use this kind of colors, you see these the purple ones have white text on them, while the greenish one or so has black text on them. So if we use this together on the website, it's going to blend together because they are all together in the color scheme. I was asking about fashion brand the other time. This kind of color that you are seeing on the screen can actually fly for a fashion brand if the brand is about something classy or about something um, premium, something like this can work. I've actually used this kind of scheme before. The other website I showed you the other time is having this kind of scheme. See, now can you see the person on this website? Now let's go back to that scheme. Can you see? So it's just about you getting a scheme. You can screenshot it, you can download it, you can save it and work with it. So check out color scheme generators. We have lots of them, and you can do your own research by yourself. This is the color I want to use and work with it. We have UI UX basics. I will run faster now, especially because all of these things, what we're doing is basically introduction. Each of them are concepts that you can research further on. Okay, so user experience, that's actually talking about how you want people to feel, how you the experience you want them to have when they are on your website. So one of them is ease of navigation. I don't know if you have been on a website before and you don't know what button to click. You don't know where to go. The navigation is poor. So something like that can frustrate users and they just get out of your website. Okay. Another thing is consistency. That's why color scheme is very important, so that there will be consistency of color, but not just consistency of color. There must be consistency of fonts too. Don't say you want to be so creative and you are using like 10 different fonts on a single website. It will not be consistent. So if you are using two fonts, stay with it. If you are using just maybe three fonts, stay with it and don't exceed that. One can be used for heading, one can be used for the body, maybe one can be used for the subheading or the call to actions. So just stay with that. I think that's basically what is it about user interaction. But for user interface, that is where how beautiful, how nice, how aesthetic the website is comes in. So all the visual elements must blend together. Maybe it's the buttons, maybe it's the form, maybe it's the menu, it's the text, the image, and everything. All of it must come together. So that is what makes it a nice user interface. It has to be clear. The customers, when they click on form and they submit, for example, when you all were signing up for this training, when you fill the registration form, you got on another page and the page asked you to join the WhatsApp group. So that is something providing immediate feedback. So it's not as if you just clicked on the form and you are wondering what is the next thing now. No instruction, nothing to do. So that's very important, and we develop the platform such that people with disabilities will be able to make use of them. And one of the ways this can be simply done is when you use an image, there's something we call alternative text for image. You have to add that so that for people who cannot see, they make use of some apps to read the website for them. So the app will be able to read the alternative text for the image for them. Okay, and maybe if you are the type that like using all these emojis, you might need to reduce them so that when the app is reading out the text, you not get confused when it gets to an emoji. So all of those little things matter when you are designing for people who have disability or to include them. UI UX basics I talked about, the role of color in design, UI UX, the user interface. Okay. Now, when it comes to best practices, don't forget when people visit your website, the essence of it is for them to be able to take an action. So you must make your buttons prominent. The buttons you want them to click on to take action, it must be something prominent. If it is submit, let it be prominent. If it is buy now, let it be something prominent. And how to make that prominent is by using a very contrasting color for it so that it stand out from the rest of the website. Okay. And forms should be simple. People shouldn't want to sign up for your program or your offer and they have to fill form as if they are preparing for JAMB. They will fill in their name, fill in their date of birth, fill in their address, fill in their location, fill in their job, fill in everything, except if it is loan that you want to keep them. I remember I worked on a loan website before and the form was so long that it has to be broken into pages. Okay, but if it is not that, phone number, email, maybe with one more thing. That's all. Except there's a very, very important information you should get from them as well. Now, when it comes to Webflow, WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, all these things we have mentioned are also applicable. You get. So while you are doing your drag and drop, while you are doing the customizing, just like we did, you have to bear all those principles in mind. Okay, now this is what I would like us to do. You know, you have worked on a project before. With some of the things we have learned now, you must have thought of one thing or the other to correct on your project that you have done earlier. So please, for throughout tomorrow, I would like you to refine, edit, customize more for your page. And it will be good if all of us can have at least one for Wix and one for Webflow, especially those of us who have not worked on Webflow. That might be nice. And let there be an header, you can remove any irrelevant content that came with a template you are trying to use and add your own content that you want. Okay, so then the layout, the typography, the color consistency, all of those things has to be proper. The same thing is applicable to this. So let's just work on them and try to make sure that the website, either on laptop or desktop or tabs, it's actually appearing aesthetic. It's looking nice. Okay, so that will be all on